Thank you very much, Representative Davis. I do have a couple questions myself, Mr. Chairman, that might help clarify these. I believe you might know the answer, but is it not currently against federal law for an employer to hire an illegal alien?
It is.
And is it not currently against state law, especially with the laws that Chairman Chip Rogers, Senator Chip Rogers brought forth a few years ago, again, made clear that it's against state law and there are penalties for any employer to be hiring an illegal alien?
It is, you're correct.
Okay. And is it not, and I don't know the code section, I don't have it with me now, though I'm familiar with the concept, but is it not currently Georgia code a requirement that any person is arrested at the booking person, I guess, people at the booking, whether it's a city jail or a county jail, etc., are required by state law to ascertain the legal status of that individual as far as residents in the United States?
And that is my belief. I can't speak with certainty of that, but yes.
I think I'm paraphrasing that a little bit, but I know that code exists, and hopefully that might help answer some of Representative Davis's questions there. At that point, are there any additional questions to the chairman? Mr. Chairman, do you have any additional statements to make?
I just want to thank the committee for being willing to hear this, and I'd like to apologize to my colleagues that we're even having to deal with this subject matter, because our federal government has failed us in this regard. However, I think the only thing that it takes for evil to continue is for good men and women to do nothing. And we can continue to wait and wait for the federal government to do something, or we can take some steps in the right direction and hopefully save some lives. You know, if you can't even read the signage on the roads and you're not even willing to study to take the driver's license test and go through the legal process, then I would say that could be a dangerous situation to be putting our citizens in and under. And I would hope that we could move this bill forward at some point, and if it needs perfecting even more, I'm certainly open to that. But I think we've done that by including this code section.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. At this point, I know Representative Davis is going to need to leave, and that would leave us without a quorum, but at this point I would entertain a motion if there is one. Okay. Representative Cohen.
I will make a motion do pass.
Okay, is there a second?
978.
Is there public comment today?
No, ma'am. That was at the last hearing. This is a
You didn't have
There
that
was no
opportunity
chance for
last meeting.
You didn't allow that last hearing. If you want a good bill, let us talk.
Excuse me, that's a little out of order to be made, but no request has been made of the chairman, no request until this moment, and no request has been made, to my knowledge, of the author of this bill. If somebody had made a request following any of the proper procedures, this has been a properly advertised and publicized hearing. We would have been more than happy to hear from anybody that had requested it following the proper channels that we do on any bill that we hear here. We're always glad to do that, but without people following the proper procedures, we will have to continue following our procedures and rules as we will. That would be out of order, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And, in any future instance, if somebody wants to make a public comment at a hearing, if they request that of the chairman, they will be more than happy to oblige, and I will be more than happy to oblige. We have, in every hearing that this chairman has ever chaired, we have taken comments, be it a full hearing or a subcommittee hearing. We will continue to follow our procedures. We'll continue to be open to the public, but we must have it requested under the proper procedures, which is to notify the chairman or notify the committee. That was not done, even though this is a fully publicized hearing. And for that, I will see if we have a second.
Mr. Chairman, I appreciate you giving me that opportunity. I know I have to run out to this meeting that I'm late to now, but One of the things that I do appreciate Chairman Mills doing is bringing to light the section 161349. What I'd like to ask that we do, for my personal benefit again, I think this is a bill that's certainly going in a direction that we want to go in, but I've got some caution, not having had an opportunity to look at this, is that we call for question and maybe continue this until the next legislative day.
I think that would be in order. That would follow right along. And for anybody that would like to make public comments at that time, if they would please contact the chairman's office, we will be glad to hear them. Contact them with synopsis, who you are, what organization you represent, and we would be more than happy at that time to have a public hearing, and we will reschedule this and make proper notice. And we are a little short down here with people having to be in 2 or 3 committee meetings at the same time. We'll try and find the time to ensure that we actually have more committee members also available at that time. And we will make that notification. And unless the committee members have any other comments or questions, we will table this at this time because we do not have a second on the motion, and we will reschedule a hearing. And thank you very much. And please, members of the public, please contact my office, and we'll make sure that you get heard at that time following proper procedures. Thank you.
The state economy is already being dramatically affected. Our trauma care costs are going out the roof. Our court costs are going out the roof. Our school costs and property taxes are being dramatically raised because we're forced to educate children who have been brought here through an illegal process. So this is about protecting legal citizens.
The effect on businesses will be terrible. It'll be devastating because I can't imagine a law like this passing, but just the fact that it's being discussed is bad enough. Well, I understand certainly that the state is getting impatient with the federal government, but I predict that within 2 years, maybe less, the federal government is going to find some way to have a path for legal status for the majority of the people that are here. And at that time, all of this efforts is going to be a waste. In addition to all of the other things they're talking about, you've got the Real ID Act, which is supposed to take effect in May of this year. Well, you know there are other bills going on right now talking about affecting the driver's license. It's all going to be a waste.
The effects that we are going to see on this are going to be the effects that we see in other places where a host of anti-immigrant laws are considered and passed. It will affect business. We've already heard it's starting to affect people's businesses, these types of anti-immigrant laws. And with respect to a Band-Aid approach, not really approaching the real problem, I would urge us all to think about really approaching the problem that's at hand here, the problem of immigration. It's a complex issue. We can't deal with it simply. And not only do we suffer by having these piecemeal approaches, we suffer as a country legally because with these kinds of approaches that violate civil rights, that violate constitutional rights, and that present major, major problems in terms of legal drafting, that is not just a Band-Aid approach. That has a negative effect on our society, on our constitutional democracy, and on the enforcement and integrity of our civil rights and constitutional laws. So it's more than just trying to solve a situation in a short-term way, short-sighted way. It really does have an impact on our laws and what our country stands on, which is namely constitutional rights and civil rights for everyone. And in spite of what the representative sponsor of the bill stated, there are constitutional rights for undocumented persons under the 14th Amendment as well as other amendments to the Constitution, and the courts have been clear about that. So that is a misunderstanding of the law, and we would just cite several cases, but the Hazelton case is a recent case that basically set forth that there are definitely equal protection and due process rights to be given to undocumented persons regardless of how they entered this country.